In a world where more and more things can be automated, generated, templated, or outsourced, what should actually stay human? As part of this summer series, I've been talking about reviewing the foundations of your tutoring business before September arrives. Last week, we talked about automation, systems, and how this can reduce unnecessary mental load. But there's another side to this conversation that tutors really need to think carefully about right now. What should stay human in a world of automation? Hi, if we haven't met before, my name's Jane. I'm the host of the Tutor Edit and founder of Vireo Tuition, an online international tuition business that started with me as a sole trader because I didn't want to go back to the classroom and has now evolved into me leading a team of tutors that deliver tuition worldwide. And this is the third episode in my summer series, all about using this point of the year intentionally so that we can get set ready for September before it arrives. And today I want to talk about something I've been thinking a lot about recently as AI, automation and online systems become more and more embedded in businesses, in education and in the content that we are creating. Because honestly, I think that tutors are in a slightly unusual position with this automation. Because on one hand, automation can make business feel so much more manageable. It can reduce repetition. It can save us time. It can reduce admin pressure. It can create consistency if it's used well. And that is incredibly valuable. But actually, at the same time, with the service that we're offering, human connection is becoming more and more important, especially in tutoring. Our whole business is based on forming relationships, not only with students, but also their families. And that really can't be automated. So summer is a really great point and a valuable opportunity to just pause and start thinking intentionally about where those human touch points should exist inside your business before September begins again. I've been working on this a lot over the last few months, and there are several things that we've done just to include human touch points, not in a forced or systematic way, but just trying to create relationships and enhance relationships with families in a much more human, in a human way. And we'll talk a little bit about that today, about how maybe you could introduce some of these into your tuition business if you feel that it's needed. But one of the things that I've noticed over the last few years while I've been tutoring is that parents are often not just looking for subject knowledge, are they? Like, we know this already. When we look for a tutor, yes, they want academic excellence, they want a subject specialist who can support their child, but actually, they're not just buying our time and our expertise. They're buying reassurance. They're purchasing calm, whether that's calm at home, calm in their relationship with their child. It goes beyond just the hour of subject support. This is what parents are really purchasing. They're purchasing trust. They are expecting us to communicate in an effective way. They are buying reliability, somebody who is going to be there and they can trust with their child. And this is particularly important if we are just operating online. How do we build that trust with families? Because essentially, parents are trusting us with their child online, and nobody in their right mind would trust a stranger with their child. How can we build that relationship? And that only comes from human connection. Those things are becoming increasingly more valuable in a world where so much is automated. Communication is automated. Communication is quite generic if people are using AI tools in order to construct their communication and do copywriting for them. And even though technology can absolutely improve efficiency, and this is something that we talked about in the previous episode, what it can't replace is that feeling of genuinely being supported by another human being. Especially when children are struggling, either academically or emotionally, tutors can sometimes underestimate how much emotional reassurance we provide simply through the way that we communicate. And these are the human touch points that we want to include in our business, but also enhance, because we will be doing this automatically already, and just thinking about other opportunities to introduce these human touch points over the summer period. So it could be a thoughtful message, which I'm sure that everybody is doing already, but could this be formalized or calendared just so that when things do get busy, these are the kind of things that don't slip, those personal touches. Checking in, we sent out good luck cards to our students this year, and parents really appreciated that. And the students did too. We've had many noted that they're studying with them on their desks, in front of them, knowing that they've got somebody else on their team. It could be an onboarding call. I still communicate with parents directly. I still do all of the onboarding. Now, obviously, the business is growing. I don't know how sustainable that is in the long term, but I really like picking up the phone and just calling somebody. And often they will be quite surprised that somebody has called them on the phone, because so much business is done through text, through emails, and just a human phone call can be very reassuring. These things matter. It could be a video call, it could be a phone call. But interestingly, automation cannot replace those moments. They can only create space for them, because the goal isn't to remove human touches from the process. The goal is actually stop wasting energy on tasks that don't need human energy. So because we had a system that logs the inquiry form and then flags it up on our system, I now have time and an automated email is sent out. I now have time to pick up the phone, because I'm not replying to the email inquiry. I'm just picking up the phone and having a chat with the parents instead. And these things are very, very different, because I'm not replying to or having to think about a response to an email because I haven't templated or automated. I have time to write out some good luck cards for students. So these are the things that we can start building in to make sure that parents feel that value, to feel genuinely seen, that there's a connection there, that they feel supported in those important moments because they're trusting us with their children. So think about how we can do this over the summer. When you do review your customer journey, and maybe you've done that already when you looked at episode 2, but just think about now, well, where does that personal connection matter the most? At which points can we either enhance what we already do or maybe introduce new human touch points? At which point in our customer journey may families need reassurance? Where do they feel most vulnerable? At which point, and how can we provide that reassurance? It could be before exams. It could be that the parent is stressed, and how can we provide that reassurance to the parent as much as we do to the student themselves? And just signposting when those moments of genuine connection actually matter. Because when you get clear on this, you can start to map out and enhance the customer journey, from initial inquiries to maybe discovery calls, to then exam season, to results day maybe. It could be sending a parent an email, just checking in on how they do. It could be that a student needs extra support and there's an extra resource that you can send to them to support them. These are the moments that people remember, and that is very likely not only to support that student, but could potentially generate referrals in the future as well. And those are the things that are important. They won't remember that your invoice was automated. They won't remember that on the first inquiry that they had an initial kind of automated response. They matter when we have that human connection. One of the biggest risks with automation is that it removes those exact moments that create trust in the first place, especially in education, because tutoring is relational work. Parents are inviting somebody, usually a stranger, we are strangers to them at this point, into a very emotionally important part of their child's life. And that requires warmth. It requires thoughtfulness. It definitely requires a human touch. And I also think that sometimes tutors can assume that professionalism means being more polished and corporate. But actually, one of the main reasons that referrals work so strongly in tutoring is because families remember how you made them feel. If you've made them feel calm at a moment of stress, if you've made them feel supported when they needed it most, if they felt like you understood them and the challenges that they were experiencing, if you made them feel safe, these are the things that people remember. And that's why human connection is more valuable than any automation that you could put in place. And it's just having that balance of having the automations to streamline and make things, when they need to be transactional, that they are, with minimal impact on your energy, so that you can then spend your energy on the things that matter, that human connection. Genuine, thoughtful communication stands out much more now than ever. And particularly in this world of AI, I've definitely been thinking about this in my own business recently. We will spend the whole of this summer period reviewing systems and back-end processes. And I have a few ideas about things that we need to improve in terms of automation. But actually, I don't want parents and families to feel like they're entering a machine that is completely automated. I want to keep that balance. Automation should support relationships, not replace them. And that's why summer is such a useful time to just have space to review this properly before the term starts speeding up again. During term time, we're just trying to keep up with things. We're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I needed to automate that, but I haven't got time to set it up now. There's slightly more room at this time of year, slightly more space to just think intentionally about what kind of experience you want families to have inside your business. So we sent out Christmas cards, we sent out, this year we sent out good luck cards to students, and I'm looking at ways that maybe we could personalize their onboarding experience for September as well, so that it can feel a little bit more personal, that there is a human touch and connection, but also that it is simple. Because once that process is in place, then it can become almost automated in a sense, that it's streamlined. We have a clear process for it. It could maybe be outsourced, but the personal connection is still there. Because I want to spend the emotional energy on creating that human relationship, not on the process itself. And that is where we want to be spending our time. So I suppose I want to leave you with this. Should tutors use automation? Absolutely. We should all be using it in some form. But the most important question is, well, what should stay human? And honestly, I think that the tutors who answer that thoughtfully are probably the tutors who will build the strongest long-term relationships with families moving forwards. We see this in international tuition an awful lot culturally. The trust and relationship is built very steadily and slowly over time. And this is something that I want to compound on over the next few years, just having those personal human touches that build those relationships even further. Automation should protect your energy for the parts of your business that genuinely need you, not remove you from the business completely. And this is the real balance that we need to make, because one of the most valuable things that we can do is foster that human connection. And your tutoring business will only become stronger by being more human. If you can be intentional about your personal touches in your business, then this can have a real impact, not only on the success of your business, but also on the families that you serve as well. So I think the main thing that I want to leave you with today is this. Automation should protect your energy for the parts of the business that genuinely need you. It shouldn't remove you from the business completely. That's not the aim. One of the most valuable things that you can do over the summer term is just to review your customer journey and start identifying where that human connection matters most and what can we do about it. Because in a world where more and more things are becoming automated, thoughtful human communication becomes incredibly valuable and actually, sadly, increasingly rare. So this can give you an opportunity to stand out and become the go-to tutor in your area. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Tutor Edit. If you've enjoyed it, then please make sure that you have liked and subscribed, and maybe share it with somebody else who would find it beneficial. If you are interested in any of the prompts that I've shared with you today, then you can download a free review guide using this QR code if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are listening on audio, I will link it in the show notes for you. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope that you have a great week. Bye.